My name is Dr. Andrew Schoonmaker, and I'm here to tell you about the Natchez Indians. Well, first, who were the Natchez Indians? Where did they live? How did they live? Did they help the French colonists settle new territory? Well, the Natchez territory extended through Mississippi and Louisiana. Natchez lived in fortified villages. Inside these villages were adobe houses with thatched roofs, and it was home to one family. These villages were located on the east banks of the Mississippi River. Their main village was the Grand Village, located near present-day Natchez, Mississippi. Well, how was the Natchez tribe governed? The Natchez tribe was ruled by a king called the Great Sun. Unlike the Europeans, the royal family was traced to the mother's bloodline. This meant that the Great Sun's eldest son would not become the Great Sun. The Great Sun's oldest sister's eldest son would become the next Great Sun. The Great Sun had the power to order the life or the death of the whole tribe. The tribe of the Natchez had a rigid class system of stinkards, nobles, and the family of the Great Sun. The nobles and the Great Sun were not allowed to marry amongst themselves. They had to marry a stinkard. This allowed the stinkards to better their lives and their families. But when the noble died, his mate had to be buried with them to accompany them to the afterlife. The stinkards, though, could marry amongst themselves. The men and women in the Natchez tribe were not equal. The men in the tribe had much more power than the women did. They could hold leadership positions, they were in charge of the household, and they even got to eat first. Both the men and the women told stories, made artwork and music, and learned medicine. Children would play games and even had dolls to play with. Sometimes the males would hunt with their fathers while the females would do household chores.
The Natchez Indians lived off the land. They grew corn, beans, and squash. They also hunted, fished, and gathered. As you can see here, the Natchez Indians ate a variety of food. Some of these foods include oranges, wheat, nuts, potatoes, and variety of different assortments of berries and animals that they would hunt or gather. The Natchez Indians used a variety of stones to sharpen their cooking utensils and hunting utensils. Each of these were used for a specific purpose in their daily lives.
Natchez were polygamous, or had many wives. Whenever the great son died, some of his litter was buried with him. The Natchez would also perform human sacrifice to their many gods.
Kill you now! No! Ah!
The men would wear pants and no shirt, and the women would wear basically the same, except for a wrap around their chest. The Natchez did not wear feather headdresses like stereotypical Indians, but the great son did wear a crown-like feather headdress. The Natchez spoke the native language of their tribe, but when they broke apart, they learned the languages of their new tribes. The French and the Natchez didn't really have the best relationship. The land they lived in was rich for farming, so when the French realized how good this land was, they wanted it very badly. So this caused bad relationships between the French and the Natchez. The Natchez eventually led an attack on the French and killed about 300 French colonists and captured about 250 others. Later, the Yazoo tribe joined against the French. Eventually, the French enlisted the help of the Choctaw and Tunica Indians to help drive out the Natchez from the region. Natchez Indians then fled and joined other tribes, such as the Creek and Cherokee, or were captured and sent to the West Indies as slaves. The Natchez Indians now live in Oklahoma on reservations with their tribes.
The French established a fort in Natchez Territory in 1716. This fort was the center of their colony. It also became a source of conflict between the French and Natchez. By 1729, war was inevitable. In 1716, 1722, and 1729, the Natchez Indians engaged in 3 wars with the French. Their most fatal happened to be the last, which was caused by the French governor Chopart while he was trying to occupy the site of their principal village to build a plantation. After years of abuse by the French, on November 28, 1729, the Natchez Indians attacked and massacred the French settlement at Fort Rosalie, which was established in 1716. The Natchez Indians made their last stand on Sicily Island, Catahoula Parish, Louisiana, on January 20th, 1732, where the French commander M. Perrier found the Natchez entrenched. For 3 days he bombarded them with cannon fire. The besieged Indians proposed terms on January 26, which were declined unless they first surrendered the principal war chiefs and the great son. Surprised with this agreement, Perrier still demanded more. After the great son and the war chiefs were taken prisoners, they were shipped to San Domingo and sold into slavery to pay for the expenses of the expedition. After the French defeated the Natchez survivors were scattered about. Now, many of the Natchez descendants live with the Chickasaw, Creek, and Cherokee tribes of Oklahoma. Other Natchez people were sent to the West Indies as slaves by the French.